Good morning, 11:39 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Monday, August 21st, 2023. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. So what is happening here? I put out this morning in the earlier update, danger, and this is why. It wasn't because we were necessarily going to break all the way down to the 2020 uptrend, but it did appear that we were overly bearish on the close yesterday in the weekly sense, even on a daily sense to me. So we had three key things working against us this morning that told us we had to come back down. Remember, if you were in the live last night, the key area we talked about, and this is a very important update, so please share this. Please hit the like button. This is one that really needs to be watched. So in the weekly, first thing that happened was, and just in the general terms, let's start in general terms real quick so we can get to where we're at. We failed, first things first, we failed to get back in here. This arrow is in a terrible spot, so let me fix this in the daily. So we failed to get in here. So first things first, we wanted to get above. So the very basic of things we needed to do in the weekly, we needed to close above the 200-day at worst at 51 cents. Check. Next step, we had to close above the 200 EMA in the daily. Check. That was at about 524. Next step, to get more bullish and invalidate some of this downward structure, first step would be get back above the ascending triangle, which we had to break back down into, which was the old pattern formation. Well, we failed to do that. That's bearish. That's a bearish overtone. Next step, we failed out of the falling wedge. Get back above the falling wedge before the weekly time frame was up. Couldn't do it. That's overly bearish tone. The fact we couldn't get back up here in that weekly candle finally shows us for the first time in the weekly we've fallen below that structure. Now, I had already put it at a 54%, and it doesn't change. My philosophy of 54% chance to come down to the 2020 uptrend at 37 cents was on the basis we would not be able to close, in my opinion, over those levels. I thought we wouldn't be able to. Just what we were seeing, we kept getting rejected at about 544. It just was looking like we weren't going to do it. I felt confident we were going to close over the 200-day, which we did in the daily, but that doesn't mean that that's where it was going to end. I made it very clear in yesterday's update and in the live if you were in there, which I find it very important to tune in on my lives at 7:47 p.m. Eastern Standard Time daily. I come on right before the daily close, and we talk for about an hour after the close. 15 minutes leading into it roughly, and about an hour after. And we have an active discussion. It started off with 40 people in there. Yesterday we had over 200. We've had over 300 at times, but on average there's about 150 to 175 people in there now, and it's pretty interesting that we've grown so quickly in the last month and a half since I started doing this. But I would love to see everybody in there. That's where you can ask questions. That's where you can get me live. I answer every single question, sometimes to the displeasure of the audience. And I know a lot of you are seeing it because the videos get like 1,800 or 2,000 views from the lives, which is unbelievable. So I thank you for that. But this is where I kept saying it would behoove us not to at least come retest the 509. That doesn't mean you can't have an overrun, but you need to use this area as a support. The only way to do it is to somehow have a volatile drop down. We just had a better than 6%, 7% drop at the bottom. Now, maybe not 7. I don't want to, maybe not 7. It might have been a little bit less than 7. Let's make sure we get this properly, because this is important. Okay, close. 6.8, so I'm not wrong. About a 6.8% drop in this daily candle. And as we talked about earlier, it was looking overly bearish. It started overly bearish. This is a gravestone doji that ended, in my opinion. If you don't have to agree, I'll go to the actual imagery, and you can make a decision for yourself. So I like education and information, so I would like you to make your own informed decision. So when you hear me speaking of the long leg doji, the dragonfly doji, and the gravestone doji, I did do an explanation video on this before, but obviously there's a lot more new people here. Every single day we're getting more people, so it's my duty that I have to teach this. So it's my job. So basically, on the left you see the gravestone doji, high price, low price, and the open and close price ends in a bearish tone. It's lower. The long leg doji you have a shadow on each side. It's basically overshadowed on the high and low, and it's an even open to close. It's basically dead middle, creates that cross look in the middle. The Dragonfly Doji is the inversion of the gravestone. So you have the higher close with the open and close price ending at the top side of the range. The gravestone's ending at the bottom side of the range. The long link is basically ending neutral. So you have all three of these, ironically, the next candle decides it all. But if you have a gravestone, it speaks that the next candle is likely going to be bearish, which is how yesterday we knew today would be overly bearish. At least the start today we talked about. We started, but it would be good. See, it would be good to dump to 37 cents. It really would, that 2020 uptrend, for so many more reasons. And I'll get back into it. But in the weekly time frame, both of the previous two instances, this is only the third time we've had a golden cross in the weekly in XRP. The first two times we dropped at least 60%, 37 cents, 37 and a half, I mean, at that 2020 uptrend approximately. That's just over 60%. I mean, it almost lines up too perfectly. So that's why I would have liked for it to hit there before the move up. But right now, you can't expect it to go down there, even though I have a 54% probability. The reasons why I keep saying that could be overly playing to one side is because of the factors that are still going on in front of us. So right now, that gravestone doji is what it looks like to me. And then let's go down to the gravestone. Well, we know what the gravestone doji is. It's going to be overly bearish likely in the next candle, and it's proven bearish. So you can make the interpretation here. I believe that's a gravestone doji. You can let me know in the comments if you think I'm wrong. And now what does it look like it's doing on the very next candle? So if this is the consolidatory dump we talked about yesterday, I'll reinforce it today. We needed to come back down. So after a big dump like this, as long as if you're not closing back above the weekly golden cross support at the 20-day, most likely you have to come back and reaffirm the 200-day on a big close. So that means we drop down in that week, and now in this weekly candle, at some point you would have to retest that area to prove strength. And now we've done it. Now the question is there strength? Was that our liquidity sweep we were talking about? Is that enough? Is that enough of a sweep now? We won't know until this candle plays out today, in particular in the daily, to see how we react here, because now, yes, we came down and did a sweep, but now what does that do in the daily? It puts us below the 524, firm. So now if you close the daily there, it's overly bearish. So what is actually going on here? Is this deception? Is this reality? Is there something more to this? Let me know in the comments. Attend the live at 7:47 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But this looks like now, after that dump, if this continues pulling up, you very well could find yourself flipping from a gravestone in the daily, and now the shorter time frame is starting to show maybe the opposite in the Dragonfly. So this could be showing after a dump, maybe there's more buyers than sellers here. We don't know until the end of these candles. I'm XRP Future Millionaire. If you got anything out of this, make sure you hit that like button. And if you appreciate my work, consider hitting that subscribe button and joining me over 18,200 subscribers. If you want to pay it forward and show that appreciation, because I don't do any paid advertisement, paid promotions, or paid sponsorships of any kind, you can send a YouTube Super Chat or join Tom's Army. And then if you're looking to trade how I do, in the video description below, I have FEMX, I have BitGet, MEXC, and Uphold down there. FEMX for the USA users, because it's no VPN, no KYC, you can do XRP. Didn't go down during the whole 94% jump, and they have the low spot maker fees for the USA. So if you can do the other ones, have your choice. I'm not affiliated with any of them. The links are there, so it makes it easier for you. Have a blessed day. Positivity over negativity.